Okay, welcome everyone. Hi, thank you for joining us for another weekly webinar. Happy October, October 2nd, and we're glad to be back for the last quarter of 2025. Can you believe it? And we've got an excellent slate of presentations for these last 3 months of the year, including today's, which I'll get to in just a moment. Before that, I'll remind everyone to please mute yourselves so that our speakers can be the only sound we hear in just a moment. And to use closed captioning as you choose to. There's a button at the bottom of your screen that says show captioning that you can employ. We are recording, and this will be available for future watching and rewatching later today. And use the chat feature as you choose to ask questions or make comments. And A Different Mindset, I will watch the chat and make sure we get to those while we're together. So you don't have to worry about trying to do that. And the PowerPoint, as we can tell that we want to focus on what most is important to us. So those are all the housekeeping notes. One more housekeeping note. I, through the magic of technology, have put myself in Hays, Kansas today. So that's what's going on with my background. I hope that star is in the right place. If it's not, blame Google Maps and not me. But I know Hays is generally northwestern Kansas, so I hope that's close enough. And it's a beautiful day in my version of Hays today, and I hope it is for you too. And we are super excited to hear about A Different Mindset Association. And we have Mickey Armstrong, who is the fearless leader, I think we decided was your title, Mickey, of A Different Mindset. And I'm going to let Mickey tell you more about what A Different Mindset does. I don't want to spoil it. And Mickey's going to do a much better job than I could do telling you what A Different Mindset is. As you all know, on the weekly webinar, we are always looking for resources, support, services, good stuff. And that's what we have today with our friends from A Different Mindset. So Mickey, I will say go ahead and press what you need to press for the slideshow to get going. And thank you for being with us.
Thank you, Kelly. Okay, well, welcome everyone, and thank you for letting us participate in this webinar with you today. As Kelly said, my name is Mickey Armstrong, and I work with a group called A Different Mindset, and we are located in Hays, but we serve counties around Hays. So our organization, go ahead and we started probably around in 2020, and we're a nonprofit, and we do education about dementia, and we do engaging activities for people suffering who are in the mild to moderate stages of dementia. And we also run a couple of caregiver support groups, and we do education for the public. Our goals and our vision are, the next slide. There we go. Okay. We provide respite and engagement of a non-medical nature for social engagement programs. We have, as I said, 2 caregivers support groups that meet twice a month, once by Zoom. And the first one started in 2020. We were set to start as an in-person group, and then everybody knows COVID happened. And so we went Zoom, and we've been running that since it continues to run, but we decided now that COVID was somewhat under control. Last year, we decided to start an in-person. So we have 2 opportunities for caregivers to join us. We try and do an annual education workshop on dementia and brain health. And that's where K-State Extension comes in and helps us with that. We have two people with us here tonight, Carissa Frazier and Monique Kerner, and they are the family support people through K-State Extension that have joined our group and help us provide those education programs. We're going to talk about our monthly engagement programs for people who have dementia. And one of those is a bus trip, and the other one is a day program. And those programs though they're for the people who have dementia, they also provide respite for the caregivers of 4 hours. Those programs run for 4 hours. So each day those programs run, the caregivers can do whatever they want because they know that we're taking care of their loved ones. So, as I said, our group has been around since about 2020. And we kept searching for a program. How can we bring more resources to our community? And one of our members heard about a group called A Deeper Window Association in Leavenworth, Kansas. And so we decided to go up and look at their program. And so 3 of us went up and we participated in their day program the entire day. And that's where we got the idea to replicate their program out here in Hays. And we thought it was very doable. And so in October of 24, so last year, so this month is our year anniversary of running our programs for the people in the mild to moderate stages. And we decided to give our programs a name. And so, you know, a lot of people said, well, it's an adult daycare. No, it's not. It's a social program. And so we came up with the names for our bus trip is On the Road Again, and the name for our day program is Our Club. And they are the first and third Tuesday of the month. They run from 11 a.m. until 3 p.m. And each potential participant is assessed to see if the program is a good fit for them. And the next slide will talk about that, what is that criteria. So myself or another person, Jill Wexler, who's a care coordinator in a law office who specializes in the elderly, she or I will go out and assess the people when we get a referral. So as you look on your screen, these are our criteria. You know, they have to be able to self-toilet. And the family is asked, you know, to provide extra clothing if needed, because sometimes accidents happen. Able to feed themselves with minimal assistance. And if they need a special diet, we do have one lady in one of our participants. She's on a medication that has to be, she cannot have special food. So we just have to know what her diet is going to be, or what meals we're going to be serving that day. And we adjust that for her. Able to walk independently with the use of a walker, a cane. We have a couple of people that have the stroller walkers. We have 3 people who use walkers in our program. And they need to have some level of communication because we do cognitive exercises. And of course, we need to be able to communicate with them. No, we can't handle, again, we're non-medical. So behavioral outbursts, which some people with dementia will have, that person would not be able to participate in our program. And then they're able to tolerate the 4 hours that they are in our program. And then for the bus trip, you know, we use HRC, our Hays Rec Commission. They provide our busing, and so they have a van. So they have to be able to get up on the van. Even the people with walkers, you know, we can help them. But if someone doesn't have use of their legs, it would be very difficult for them to go on the outings. And then, of course, walk short distances, although we have been able to take some wheelchairs with us for some of our people who cannot walk in the areas very long. And then they have to be able to stay buckled up in the transportation. So I thought I'd just show you some pictures. These are, there's a couple, we have very fortunate that we've been able to network with several organizations in Hays. We run our program out of our Hays Senior Center. And as you can see where we're in with the parachute there, and then we're doing some crafts. Those were at the old day center. In August, we moved into a brand new senior center here, which is a little bit more centrally located than the other one was. And so now we are in a beautiful space. We eat lunch at the senior center, and we do cognitive exercises. And we're fortunate that Fort Hays, we made a connection with Dr. Walters at Fort Hays, and she comes on our day program days and has designed exercises to do with the elderly. And so we have different ways of getting them up and moving and having fun at the same time, as you can see. It would be my right, on the far right, that's one of our bus trips. And this bus trip, we went to Fort Hays and looked at the sculpture department.
Sorry, we don't see any pictures.
Oh, you don't?
We do. I do on my end. I think you're okay. You can keep going.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the sculpture department is there on the left. And Toby Flores gave us a great tour that day. And we got to see a lot of things in the sculpture department. It was in February. It was very cold, but we were inside. So. And these are some other at the day program, just different activities that Dr. Walter and her students came out and showed us some exercises and how to be active and just to have fun. And there last month we took the group out to a restaurant, and then we walked across the street to go and look at the art museum. So that was one of our outings, and you can see there's the inside of the bus. And then last day program, which was at the end of September, Dr. Walters brought her kids again, and you can see we've got two the lady, of course, in the walker, that is she is our participant, and that's her husband. He comes every time and helps her. And so they're trying to use some fine motor skills there and moving those cups around. And then on the far right, we have a lady called Gay Flax, and she brought bicycles out. And we took we took our participants for rides in the bicycles. And it was a very windy day that day. It was very, very windy, but everybody wanted to do it. So we took our chances, and I think the winds were probably at least 30, maybe even 40 miles an hour that day. And this was one of our first trips. We went out here to our equine center, and the two gentlemen, they were our first participants, and they had a really good time. This is a therapeutic equine center, and it's therapeutic for the horses, not for the individuals. But Brian and his wife Ann have been very, very supportive of our program, and they own this business, and so it was a real treat to go out there. And probably the middle picture, we now have where we are in the new senior center, there is a daycare adjacent, which will be something that we plan to do on a somewhat frequent basis, to be able to go there and interact with the kids. And these were the 4-year-olds. No, they were younger than that. I think they were the preschool kids. And these kids were so fascinated by those strollers or the walkers with the seat on them. I mean, they wanted rides. As you can see, this little boy was wanting Janice to push him, and then the kids wanted to push her. And they were so enthralled by those walkers. It was pretty amazing. And then we did a trip up in the far right corner. We did a trip to a place here called The Niche, and they do painting. And so we had a day of painting. And again, that was at the old senior center on the far left, and hitting the balloon around. So as I said, it was really important for us to network with the community. We have the support of so many people. And this is, as you can see, I put some names up there. We had 3 fundraisers now, and I'm sorry, 2 fundraisers. We have our 3rd one coming up in April, and they've been dances. The first one was a polka dance, and we did that in Victoria, Kansas. And the second one was a rock and roll dance, and Jimmy D, a local band from this area, actually donated their time and their talents, and we raised double of what we raised the year before, and we did that out at the fairgrounds. This coming April, we're going to do a country dance, and so we'll see how that goes. But we had so many sponsors from our local area and businesses, and then the people, Clinksales Elder Law Practice are a big referral for us in terms of getting their people involved in our program if they qualify. And of course, K-State Extension has helped us with our education, and we have two ladies on our board. Dr. Walters at Fort Hays, every fall and spring, another board member, Jerry Schmidberger, and I go and present to Dr. Walters' health and human performance class and tell them about dementia and the behaviors that they see. So if they're going to participate and volunteer in our programs, they know what to expect. Hays Recreation Commission does our busing, and they're not charging us as of yet. So we're real thankful for them. Doug Williams, Grow Hays, and the Hays Senior Center, that's where we run our program. We don't pay rent. So we're very, very fortunate, and that's why it's so important to network. Northwest Kansas Area on Aging and the Heartland community, we applied for the state of Kansas has it's called KRAD, and it is a program for people who are taking care of someone at home who has dementia. And you can get, if you fill out the application and the application is approved, the caregiver, not the caregiver, but there's $1,000 that can be used to pay providers who qualify through the criteria. So if they have someone coming into their home who does any kinds of chores for them and they are approved by the Area on Aging, then the caregivers do not have to pay that person. Or the Area on Aging will pay that person. We are now a provider, so, and we do charge for our program. I forgot to mention that. We charge $10 a day, and so that amount of money does not come out of the caregiver if those applicants have been approved, and Northwest Kansas Area on Aging pays their fee to our program. So, and then we currently just joined Heartland Community Foundation to where we hope to be a pool of nonprofits in Hays who participate in kind of a endowment situation where we earn money and are paid dividends on what we earn. So all are supportive of our goals. And so there's our information at the bottom. We have a Facebook page on our website, and we try and keep that updated with current information and then of course what we're doing. So Kelly, that's it.
That is wonderful. Thank you so much, Mickey, and everybody at A Different Mindset. And we are so excited to know that this resource is available. in Hayes. And I love, of course, that you were influenced by our friends over in Leavenworth at the Deeper Window Association. Folks, if you have questions, feel free to unmute yourselves or use the chat. One of the questions that I wrote down, Nikki, was your Zoom meeting. I certainly understand about, having Zoom and thinking you were going to just have it for a little bit and then the world went upside down. Is your Zoom meeting open to caregivers only in your area, or is that something that's more universal?
Anybody can join. Yeah, I've had a guy come in from California.
Wow. A Californian visiting Hayes, Kansas. I love it. As a Californian, I think that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, that's great. I think we certainly have folks who are either watching now or will watch later who might not be in Hayes. And so it's great to know that yours is a resource they could connect with, even if they're not lucky enough to live in your part of Kansas. So I'm glad to hear that.
Hey,
And thanks for
Kelly,
mentioning the cost, $10 per session, right?
you got
Yes,
the old
a
guy.
day.
Okay. And Mr. Holtis, yes, sir.
Well, she's in my stomping grounds. I'm from Smith
Yes.
Center.
And how close are you to Hayes?
We call it about an hour and a half, a little less than that, about 80 to 90 miles. In fact, I'm going down there Monday and not to their deal, but so forth. But my question was this program primarily for individuals who are in home care? Is that it? Not in custodial care, right? Is that it?
Well, actually, that's who we have in our program, but I have received a referral from a lady who is in a nursing home who they think can participate in our program. I'm getting ready to go assess that person to
Okay,
see
well,
if
my
they
other
can
question is that Kelly knows this. I'm almost 94 years old, and I have been involved with this with my family, with my wife, and some others. And I had my mother and my father-in-law. They had a program from the nursing home that they stayed in where they took tours around, and it was upsetting to them when they got back because the comfort level, and as age, I know this, we tend to be comfortable. So that this has to be very careful on the people that that you take your tours, do your stuff with, right? You take them out to a place, right, to do activities.
Yes, yes, we
Okay,
do.
now, but so then they have to be very early on in the program, right? I mean, in the deterioration to use your program.
Yeah, in the mild to moderate stages, and we are wanting to recess those people at like every 3 months to make sure that we still are at the level that they can fruitfully participate in.
Good, good.
Nice, very
Because I
nice.
think it's excellent if they can do something yet and see an accomplishment yet. Because my wife quilted at the church up there last time, and so that was essential till she couldn't do that anymore. But
Yeah.
it's a good program for those who are able to do it. Thank you.
Agreed. Thank you so much. Mickey, I just got a note that we need to send you some updated information for our LEAP classes on your website. So I will send an email over to Carissa probably
Okay.
so that you can have the latest and greatest. And this is a shameless plug for LEAP. We think LEAP is pretty great, and we hope the folks in Hayes will agree too. So I'll make sure to get you that information if you don't mind updating, so you'll have the newest information available to share with folks. That would be great. Any other questions for folks from Mickey and the folks in Hayes? Ellis County, one of Kansas' 105 counties. And
right.
as always on the weekly webinar, we are always working on finding resources that can touch people any and everywhere. So glad to add this to our toolbox. And Mickey, you'll have to keep us up to date on the, wrote it down, the polka, the rock and roll, and the country dances. Those sound amazing. And of course, here at the ADRC, we are always looking at how movement and music are good for the
Right.
brain. So we feel like you're doing a great thing by hosting those dances, and I hope that they are quite fruitful and profitable for all the great work that you are doing for the folks in your neck of the woods. I want to segue just a little bit. I didn't really know that This was going to be such a nice segue, speaking of music and movement. But I just want to mention again our upcoming program on Wednesday, the 8th at the Lead Center in Lawrence. Not quite as convenient for Hayes folks, I guess, to come to. Sorry about that, Nikki. But we have a program coming up at the Lead Center this Wednesday, October 8th, about music and memory. And my goodness, the response to that has been enthusiastic is the smallest word I can think of. We are even beyond capacity for that event. So if you have RSVP'd, thank you for doing that. If your plans have changed and you RSVP'd thinking you're definitely coming and now you find that you cannot come, we would ask you to let us know so that we can release some of those seats, because we are at a point where we have more people coming than seats available. And we want to
That's a
accommodate
good
as many
thing.
people as we can. It's a good problem to have, but also we don't want to have to call the fire department or anything like that. So if you're not going to be able to make it after all, if you wouldn't mind sending an email to myalliance@kumc.edu, that would be supremely helpful. The good news is that we had kind of been tossing around the idea of making this a recurring program, and now we are certain that we will, unless something goes really odd next week. This will be something that we do again. So if you can't make it this time, know that we will do it again. It almost certainly will be at the Lead Center because they've agreed to partner with us, but it is something that we will offer again. And so don't feel like this is your one and only chance to make it. And so speaking of that, I'm going to take a privilege and I want to share with you all. I'm going to share my screen here. A slide that I made, and Mr. Holtis does not even know that I made this slide. I did not ask him. So hopefully he's okay with that. I made this slide about the home on the range connection that we have with our friend, Mr. Eldine Holtis, and that is his handsome face on the corner of the slide there. Any of you who have participated on our weekly webinars knows what a big supporter of the Kansas State song Mr. Eldine Holtis is. And we know about his ties to Smith Center, Kansas, and the Home on the Range cabin. And I did a little sleuthing, found the website for the Home on the Range project, and found this great image of Mr. Holtis. Look at that, on cloud 9, I think we can say. And so this is just something for fun. I thought it would be fun for the weekly webinar folks to hear about. And in case you're ever on Jeopardy or Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, this is good information to know. So Home on the Range became the Kansas State song in 1947. So what is that, 78 years ago? It was written all the way back in 1871. And there's a cabin, which we've heard about from Mr. Holtis, dedicated to the writing of this song. It is on the National Historic Register. And we will be singing Home on the Range at our concert next Wednesday at the Lead Center. We're going to do a sing-along, and we are super excited. I believe we are going to have the words up on the screen, but listen, are you a real Kansan if you don't know the words to Home on the Range? I'm a Californian, and I live in Missouri, and I know the words.
I got to kick in a word here, Kelly. This is awesome that you did this. It is known around the world.
Yes.
And it's now the 5th most popular cowboy song in all of history.
Wow.
And I went to Germany in 2017. I didn't find a person that didn't know the song in Germany. It's sung in Russia and Poland and all around. And the other thing is here, if there's any musicians, this is the opportunity to sing a song that is more than 150 years old. You can sing it on the site where it was written in the cabin built by the author. How many other songs can you do that?
Thank you. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I hear that a good friend of Kansas City has a new album coming out this weekend, Taylor Swift, and Chapel Roan, another Missourian, is coming to Kansas City this weekend. And we're real proud of her too, being a Missourian, but I don't know that either one of them can say, come to the place where I wrote my hit song, like the authors of Home on the Range could have done at one point. So we'll take that as a win. And again, we will be singing that at the concert on Wednesday. And we will be having another concert. I don't know what the date is. It will be sometime in 2026, or at least not before 2026. But stay tuned to My Alliance will be your best way of finding that out. I know a lot of you have asked whether we will be able to record the concert in Lawrence, and I still don't know that yet. I'm going to the dress rehearsal on Monday. So by Monday, I might know if we will have the capacity to record. I've seen the program. I saw the final version of the program, and I'm torn because I want to tell you everything, but also I'm not allowed to. But just know it's going to be a great program. And we will share it in all the ways that we can, I promise. So again, if you are planning to come, do come. If you find that you can't make it and you're kind enough to give up your space for someone else, that would be very helpful for us. We didn't expect that we would outgrow our room so quickly. So we are very inspired by that, very grateful for everybody's interest. And I should also say the Alzheimer's Association chapter is having an event on the same evening here in Kansas City. And I will put a notice about that in the newsletter on Monday. So if you were thinking, I don't want to go to Lawrence, there is another great event that the Alzheimer's Association is having in Kansas City on Wednesday night that you might want to try to go to as well. So the good news is there's so many wonderful things happening, so much great support available, which is exactly what we're here for. Mickey, thank you so much. We are so grateful for the work that you're doing there in Hayes. Love that you capitalized on what the folks in Leavenworth are doing. Love that you're open to folks zooming in even from places as odd as California. Thank you for that. I can say that as a native Californian. And we'll make sure everybody has the link to a different mindset so they can visit your website and get information and be in touch with you. And we will keep you on our list because we again want to hear about those dances you're having coming up. And we wish you all the very, very best. Thank you so much. Everybody else, have a great rest of your day. I hope your October is off to a great start. For those who may be observing it, today is Yom Kippur, Jewish Day of Atonement. And so we wish you a very meaningful day for that. And we'll see you back here next Thursday. Our topic is our Down syndrome program. We have a study for folks with Down syndrome. It's called the BOLD, B-O-L study. And it's looking at activity and nutrition and weight, I believe. We do already know that there are strong connections between folks who have Down syndrome and the likelihood of having Alzheimer's disease. So we are looking at some research to figure all of those connections out. So that's what we'll talk about next Thursday, October 9th. And we'll see some of you in Lawrence at the Lead Center. Everybody else, take care. We'll see you next time. Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right, thank you.
Okay. Bye-bye.